Hey everyone, and welcome to VFX Vibe once again. Today I posted an image on my Instagram account. In case you are not following me on Instagram, so you can go and can check Instagram handle is coming on the screen. So I posted one image on Instagram and I asked to guess the software, and many of you started guessing it. Like someone said Unreal Engine, someone said Maya, Arnold, Houdini, and whatnot. So everyone tried their best, but I would like to tell you that I haven't used any 3D application to generate that image, right? I did texturing, I did lighting, I did compositing, I render passes and whatnot. I did it inside a software which we are going to explore in a bit. So are you ready, guys? Okay, so let's start to begin with this project and let's see how I did that. So let's jump to screen and just see in which software I did it. And here I have my Nuke open, and you are absolutely wrong in guessing all the softwares. I did it inside Nuke. Yes, I did lighting, I did texturing, I did compositing. I made my passes inside Nuke and I did compositing. So how we can do that? Let's see. So here, as you can see, I have my geometry over here. This geometry or this model is downloaded from the bridge. Already I have made a video how to export any 3D geometry from bridge to Maya. If you haven't seen that, you can go, you can check that out. So I have my geometry, I have my albedo pass or albedo texture, I have my ambient occlusion texture, and I have my specular texture, which is not that great, but we'll see how we can use it. And I have 4K HDRI just to generate reflections. So how we can do that? Let's start. So I'm going to start with my albedo and lighting. So directly I'm going to apply my albedo texture to my geometry, and as you can see over here, my texture is applying on geometry on a very decent way. Why this happening? Because my geometry is unwrapped. So you need to keep it in mind if you want to do basic texturing inside Nuke. So geometry must be unwrapped, right? So apart from that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit tab and I'm going to create one scene. And in scene, I'm going to create one camera as well. Might be this video will be little longer, but stay with me. I'm going to teach you very advanced technique of doing these kind of projects. So here is my camera. I'm going to connect my camera with my scene, and in camera, I'm going to change few things, like I'm going in projection and I'm going to focal length might be 200. I want a very long focal length and I'm going to place it. To see what my camera is seeing, I'm going to take another node called scanline render, and in scanline render I am going to connect my OBJ and scene to scene and camera to camera. Pretty simple, straightforward. And I'm going to view through my scanline render. I'm getting something, but my camera is not placed yet. So what I can do, I can just double click on camera, and might be in camera I can pull my camera a little backwards, something like that, and might be I can rotate in somewhat, something like this. Might be I can pull it little more backwards, something like this. Okay, I'm happy with my camera placement. So what else we can do? We will start building our lighting as well. So for this example, I'm going to do a pretty basic 3-point lighting setup. So for 3-point lighting, I'm going to take first light, which will be point light. You can use any light of your choice. So I'm going in 3D mode and let's start placing my light. So my light must be from this direction, and I'm going to start cranking up intensity, which is not correct. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use fall off type. Fall off type should be quadratic. You can experiment as you want. And if you're going to use quadratic, I need to boost up my intensity a little, right? Something like that. We'll change it later. So I'm going to hit tab, and as I'm going to hit tab, I'm getting my lighting over here as well. So if I need to manage my lighting a little, so I can play something like that. And for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit viewer and I'm going to use a new comp viewer, and in new comp viewer I am going to connect this so that I can see what exactly my render is looking like, right? So this will be my render view and this will be my 3D view. That will be easy for me to manage my lights. I'm going to fast forward it and I'll come back. Okay, so I'm done with my key light. So same way, what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename it like key light, right? I'm going to select my key light, I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to rename it like fill light. Okay, and I'm going to connect it with scene. Now I can place it something like that, and keep it in mind that intensity of our fill light should be lower than my intensity of my rim light. So I'm going to lower it down and probably I'm going to place it just to fill the shadow area, not much. So might be I can place it something like that, and intensity should be lesser, somewhat like this, right? Same way I can create my third light, which will be my rim light. So I'm going to take another light. In this time I'm going to take my spotlight, might be. So spotlight will play a vital role creating rim. So I'm going to click rename it rim light. Arrangement of your file should be there, that's why I'm doing this. So let's do this, and probably just for viewing purpose I'm going to scale it a little and I'm going to rotate it in x-axis. That will be minus 180 probably, or y-axis is down. So it won't create any issue, but I'm going to rotate it something like that so that my y-axis should be upwards. And let's place my rim light. Okay, I'm happy with my rim light. If we need, we can change it later. So this will be my diffuse direct light setup, and as you can see over here I'm getting good amount of 3-point lighting. Might be I need to reduce the fill light, so I'm going over here in fill light, I'm going to reduce it a little so that my key light will pop up more and rim light will pop up more. Just I need my fill light to cut off my shadows, right? Something like that, right? Now here I'm done with this, but in this case I'm not going to use scanline render. I'm going to use another renderer called a ray renderer. Ray renderer will give me a good result, so I'm going to use my ray render, and as you can see over here I'm getting the same amount of result but in a better way. Right now I'm going over here and I'm going to arrange my file. I'm going to add a backdrop, and might be I can say it diffuse, right? That will be my diffuse. What I can do, I can go to key light and probably in color I can give it a tint, some orangish kind of stuff, and might be I can go to my fill light and I can give it a tint of just complement my key light, and same way I can go to my rim light and probably I can do it in a better way. So just to complement my key light I am doing this. Later if I need, I can change it, right? Anytime I can change it. Now what else we can do? My key light is ready now, or my diffuse is ready. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy my entire thing and I'm going to name it AO, which is Ambient Occlusion, right? And AO, I don't need lights, right? So I'm going to delete it. And here I have AO pass. If you want, you can use it AO pass, or directly you can use it any white background or white constant just to create your ambient occlusion. But that ambient occlusion will be very flat. And here I have pretty a decent painted ambient occlusion. So what I'm going to do, I cannot use my ambient occlusion directly, so I'm going to take another shader called ambient occlusion, and in ambient occlusion I'm going to connect my shader and I'm going to connect my mesh, and if I'm going to see it, voila, isn't it great? So this is the way. But as you can see over here I am getting good amount of noise. So how we can fix it? Just go to ambient occlusion, and here I can increase my samples to 64, and it will started cleaning my noise and all. If you want to play with fall off and near clip and far clip, you can go and you can check. But as I can see, I'm getting a good amount of noise. If you don't want to create your ambient occlusion with the help of ambient occlusion map, so what you can do, you can just go to constant. You can take your constant node and you can probably put it white, and if you're going to connect it, it will create something like that. But this won't work. I think we have more information in our map, so I'm going to use it. Now I have my ambient occlusion and I have my diffuse light. So what I can do, I can take a merge node and I am going to multiply it. As you know that ambient occlusion should be multiplied with any light information. So I'm going to multiply it. And as you can see over here, this is my only lighting situation and this is with my ambient occlusion, and I'm getting a good amount of information. Isn't it great, right? So same way, I'm going to create few more passes, right? I'm going to copy it, Control C and Control V. And I'm going to name it, might be I want to create my specular pass, right? Specular pass, something like that. So I have my specular information as well, good amount of specular. So how we can create my specular pass? So I'm going to take a node called specular. This will be my shader and I'm going to connect it. And here I'm going to connect my map. But as I can see over here, as I'm going to render it, I'm not getting anything, right? Because specular needs light, right? So I'm going to copy my all three lights over here and I'm going to paste it. And let's connect one by one. As I'm going to connect it, you can see I'm getting my specular as well. So if you don't want specular from rim light, just you need to disable it. Or if you want specular only from key light, so you want to enhance your key light specular, so you can double click it and just you can enhance the intensity, something like that, right? And in fact, you can change your direction or you can change your position to get your desired reflection, right? Something like that. So I have my reflection, I have my passes, and I'm going to take a merge node and I'm going to connect this with my specular and I'm going to plus it, because any light passes should be plus. So as I'm going to disable it, you can see I am getting a good amount of specular. Isn't it great, right? So here, apart from specular, what else we can create? We can create our reflection pass as well. So how we can do that? Just I'm going to Control C and Control V. So I'm going to rename it something like my reflection. And in reflection, we don't need light. So I'm going to delete it and I'm going to delete my specular as well, right? And I'm going to take another shader called a reflection and I'm going to connect it. But in reflection shader, what is going to reflect, right? So I want this information should reflect. So how we can do that? Just I'm going to take a node called sphere. Sphere, I'm going to connect it with scene and keep it in mind that this should be bigger than this, right? Your camera and your mesh should be inside my sphere. So I'm going to scale it somewhat 1000. Yes, my camera and my mesh is inside my sphere, and in sphere I'm going to connect my this texture. And if I'm going to render my this thing, so you can see how smooth I'm getting my reflection is, right? So yes, I can control it by reflection. So I don't want this much neat and clean. So I can lower down the color somewhat like this and lower down the value as well, just to give it a hint. And if I'm going to change the direction of reflection, so I can select my sphere and I can rotate in y-axis. So you can see easily the reflection is changing, right? So I'm pretty much happy, and might be in reflection I can add some color as well, and might be I can lower it down. So this is my reflection. So what else we can do? I can take merge node and might be I can connect my reflection over here, and in this way I'm going to plus it, right? But what I want to eliminate my background which is coming over here, right? So how we can do that? To eliminate my background easily, what we can do, we can take this alpha information and we can mask my this information. It's pretty easy. So how we can do that? Just I'm going to take a merge node over here and I'm going to connect my alpha with this, and I'm going to mask it, right? So I'm getting my reflection over here without my background, and if I can disable it, you can see I have good amount of reflection. So if you want to reduce reflection more, I can do this, right? Now if I want to add more creative texture on this mesh, how we can do that? Have you seen reference? In reference, as the image I have uploaded, there is a lava texture. So how I can do that? It's pretty simple. I'm going to connect my diffuse, copy my diffuse setup, and in diffuse setup I'm going to delete my diffuse texture, right? And I'm going to name it lava, and in lava I'm going to take a shader called emission. Yes, you'll find each and every shader information over here. So we have emission, and I'm going to directly connect my emission over here, and if I'm going to render it out, I'm getting nothing, right? Why? Because in emission you can choose what channel you want to emit, right? So how you can select that? So I can go over here and I can hold control and click, and I can do this, so it will be red, right? If you want to change the saturation, you can change over here, but it's overall. I want to break it down, right? So how we can do that? I'm going to take a node called noise, and keep it in mind, my project setting is 19201080, but the texture is 2K, square 2K. So I need to change the noise resolution as well. So how you can do that? Just double click it and hold down tab and type a node called reformat. I'm going to connect a reformat with this, and here in reformat I'm going to select 2K square, and this stretching is coming. So in resize tab I'm going to choose height, and in noise I'm going to reduce the scaling, right? And here, as you can see over here, I have a map. So if I'm going to connect my map with my noise, so see what kind of render I'm getting. So I'm getting a good amount of a variation as well. So now I can control my gamma and my gain, and might be I can reduce scaling as well, right? Something like that. So you can play around and you can figure it out how it's working. So probably I can reduce my gamma as well, just to reduce the size of my lava, might be something like that. And voila, I can take another merge and I can connect this, and I'm going to arrange my comp. And if you can see, I need to plus it because any light information should plus. It's not looking that great. So how we can do that? Yes, I can control it by using a node called glow. I need to make it something like lava. It should resemble lava. So I'm going to use glow here, and I'm going to effect only, and might be this time lava should be very glow should be very big, and I'm going to plus it, right? So this should be my outer glow. Just screen it or plus it, whatever you want. And I can take another glow. And this time I'm going to arrange a little, and this time I'm going to, might be I can effect only, I can reduce my size, and might be I can use tolerance a little, right? And I can plus it or screen it, something like that. Pretty basic I'm doing. Just hit screen. So what we are having two stage of glow, and if I'm going to see, it's too much, right? So I can control it by reducing my mix, right? I can control it by reducing my mix somewhat, And if you want to change the style of texture, you can directly go to noise and you can control it by scaling it, right? And might be I need to change the intensity of red, or I need a dark red, right? Somewhat. And might be I need to increase the glow, right? Something like that. It's all up to you. You can do whatever you want, right? Something like that. Isn't it great? So we are creating all our required passes inside Nuke, and we are compositing it as we are doing it, like we are rendering our ambient occlusion pass, we are rendering out our point position pass. And one more thing I would like to tell you, in ray render we have a tab called AOV. If I want to create certain AOVs like surface point or point position pass or normal pass, so I can do it. How I can do it? Just you need to create a new layer and you can name it point position, position, and hit RGBA. Just hit OK. And if I'm going to see it over here, so I have a position, nothing is visible, because you need to check output AOV. So we have our position pass as well, and you can use it inside your Nuke itself to relight it, right? Isn't it great? So you can, same way you can create motion, surface normal, motion vector, solid color, direct diffuse, direct specular, reflection, and emissive. You can separate those, our setup in terms of passes, and you can start compositing inside Nuke itself, right? So I would like to tell you that this is a very good exercise and you can try it out. Now I'm going to open my previous comp and I will show you how I have done my other changes. Okay, so I am inside my previous comp, and as you can see, by the same way I have created my all passes. And here, as you can see, in Ambient Occlusion, I added some grade to make it more darker. And same way you can see, this is my diffuse pass or light pass, and multiplied my Ambient Occlusion plus my specular, then reflection, right? And here I have my lava pass, and in lava pass, same way I did my glow experiment. And here I clamp it and I did some edge blurring just to smooth my edge, right? And here I have my depth pass. As you can see, I have my depth pass, and what I did, I'll let you know. And apart from that, what I did, I took an image of bokeh and I reformat it, I scale it up and lower down the opacity, and I added it in a background so that it looks like something is happening in background, right? And here I took one constant and just I graded it something like that, just to make a feel of gradient, right? And just I merged it on top of my bokeh and everything, right? And apart from that, what I did over here, I took a noise and masked it, and just I added a volume raise and I graded it out something like that, matching to my key light, and I masked it something like that, right? Just to focus on my face, and I don't wanted it overall. So what I did, with the help of my depth pass, what I did, I graded it out something like that, if you can see, right? So just I lower down the opacity inside my statue or as per my depth pass, and same way, same ambient occlusion, I grade it something like that, just to contradict or just to complement my key light, and I transformed it, I mirrored it out, and I placed it on top of this, right? So here is the result. As you can see, easily I did each and everything inside Nuke, and apart from that, we can grade it out, we can add some vignetting, we can add some more glow, and our comp will be more precise. So I'm hoping this technique will surely help you to improve your comp. You don't need to be dependent on 3D softwares like Maya, Max, and Houdini. You can do these kind of basic stuff inside Nuke, and you can make your comp or you can make your artwork more realistic. So I'm hoping that this technique will help you, and if you feel that this technique will help you, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. With this said, this is VFX Vibe Signing off. Have a good day.